Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del challenges the status quo, questions everything, and empowers you to return to your core beliefs to make your life better. If you're ready to hear the truth and get your roadmap to the lifestyle you really want, the next hour will change your life. And now, your host, self-made millionaire, national award-winning investor of the year, CEO and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, Del Walmsley.
Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. I'm your host, Del Walmsley, and as always, we're working on your financial freedom. Today, my friends, is Tell Del Tuesday, and as always, for the last 30 years, we bring on someone that has an interesting story that we think you can learn from. Now, what's interesting in this story today is it's quite a bit different than the average Lifestyles member. And in that, I believe that there is an opportunity to let a certain group of people, as in age group, as in political affiliation group, as in a different group than our main core of members, which are pretty politically conservative, pretty, middle-aged elderly. This young gentleman came in here at a very early age and did a lot. He really killed it. So what I want to do is I'm going to bring him on, introduce him, and then I'm going to interview him from a manner that he's probably not even being expecting to be interviewed from, and that is, wow, I didn't even know if you were going to make it. Welcome to the show, Kirby H. How you doing today, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, Del. Thank you for having me on today.
So I think you understand what I'm saying. When you first came, you were different. Then if you walked into the room of there was 500 Lifestyles members, you probably only related to, and I'm not saying who you actually related to, so don't get me wrong. You probably only looked like 10 of 500 in the room. Would you agree with that, or am I just way off on that?
No, you're correct, Del. I'm definitely one of the younger members. I joined about 11 years ago, and I was 26 years old. So definitely younger. I could have been one of your employees rather than a member.
So let's talk about why I had fears for your success. And you know how there's a normal prejudice in life about people that aren't like you. And you say, I don't know if these people can do what I did because they're not like me. So let's start out with this. One of my prejudices in life are instantaneous, gratificationally diseased individuals that want something right now. They have to have it this very moment. And that includes almost all salesmen by nature. And it's not that I don't like salesmen, because I know the companies can't exist without salesmen. They're probably the most important person on a team in most cases. Give me a herd of cats that I can't control called salesmen over a herd of engineers that I can get them to do what I want but won't do anything unless I make them. I'm going to take the herd of cats every day. So don't take this wrong. I appreciate the value of a good salesman. But you had made the year before a massive amount of money, right? And you did it as a salesman. Is that not the case?
I did. I was in an ongoing service business, but it was, kind of sales-based. I never viewed myself as a salesman because I never had to knock on doors. I never had to call people. I never had to ask for people to make a commitment, as a traditional salesman did. I kind of was in a unique situation where I took over my dad's financial book of business as a financial advisor, and I did not have to get new clients. I purchased in my dad's client relationships. And so I walked into a situation where a lot of clients already knew me, were very comfortable with me. I just had to prove them my, education and knowledge and my training that I got from my dad. And a lot of them saw my dad in me. And so, again, I never really viewed myself as a salesman.
I'm going to restate that for you then, Kirby, because I want to get to the good side of this, but I want to get all this out first so that people can understand how amazed I am at the success you've had, okay? So let's not call it because you're a salesman. Let's call it you were a commission-based earner. Is that closer to what you feel comfortable with?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so in commission-based, you eat what you kill. You can get out there and you can make $1 million in a year. And I think you had told me when you came in, you had a year, something like that previous. Is that not the case? You had a big year the previous year before you came in, and then boom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
2008 kind of took everybody's donut and dunked it, right?
They did. And while everyone was, having financial losses and cuts in income in 2008, we had just gained a new relationship from a particular client. And, our ongoing service fees went up dramatically. And I just had to keep the clients happy. And so I was able to do that for a long period of time.
All right. One more ding on the doorbell. Daddy's boy. Coming into daddy's business. Now, not you. I'm not pointing this at you. I'm pointing this at my personal prejudice. Oh, my God, here's a daddy's boy, took over his business and made all this money. Now he's going to come in here and act like he knows it all kind of thing. So we got the daddy boy, we got the type of business, we got the financial planner, which there's this unique relationship with people that come in and they're telling you more about finances than you know yourself. You were throwing statistics and numbers at me left and right, and you knew about all the stuff. And what do you think the bond market's going to do to our position here? What's going to happen there? And you were asking me questions that I'd never even studied. I had no idea to. And I'm just wondering, can this guy get down to buying anything? Or is he just going to speculate? All that turned out to be wrong. You came in and completely made it. So let's now talk about what you really felt when you first came in. What brought you into lifestyles?
Well, what brought me into lifestyles was just my drop in income. I made a lot of money in 1 year, and I did a lot of research and tried to understand, business and finance even more. And I realized I had two decisions. Number one, I could make more money, or number two, I could cut my expenses. And I decided, don't want to cut my expenses, so I'm going to focus all my time and energy on making more money. And when I came into lifestyles and to the free intro class, 2-hour class, you discussed investing in real estate and passive income and cash flow, and those are all things I understood. And I already had some, of that for my investments. And, I was making $1,000, $2,000 a month, which is pretty good for being my age, 26 years old. And so one thing that really caught my eye was the equity capture, and you buy a house at a discount and you instantly grow your net worth that day you buy that piece of real estate. And before I even joined Lifestyles, I had already done that with a house. I bought a house previous to Lifestyles, and I captured about $38,000 of equity. And I realized that the power of real estate, even before joining Lifestyles. So I knew and understood the business plan, understood cash flow, and that it's a long-term game. And, you can't get rich quick, but if you make good investments and you save your money and buy income-producing real estate, it will build wealth for you.
So when you came in with all this base knowledge, both is just financial information from what your previous education was, and having done some of this already, when you sat and took the 2-day, was there anything left that was an aha moment for you, other than you said the equity capture was interesting to you?
I don't think there was anything in particular. I think it was the series that you taught of both the single-family and multifamily business, and you connected the dots of, borrowing money from banks to buy real estate helps increase your return, from using other people's knowledge of, real estate agents of Lifestyles Realty to help you find houses and multifamily apartments to invest in, buy in. You really connected the dots and laid out the roadmap. And I understood each one of those on their own and kind of knew about them. But when you laid out the roadmap, I'm like, wow, all I have to do is follow the map that, Lifestyles and Del Walmsley has lined out for me. And I knew that it would be very successful for me long term. There was no doubt in my mind. I was extremely confident in my future, and all I had to do was take the steps of what you teach. And that's what I've done. Listen to Del Walmsley.
Let's tell everybody right now, and I left this out specifically so we could get this base information in. Currently, we're in 2021 right now. You own 5 apartment complexes that you are the lead investor in. You are the syndicator and the operator. And how many total units is that now?
We are at 698 units.
So you just killed it. You just killed it. And I saw on your resume that the bullet points, boy, and I'm quite proud of this. You said, I beat Del Walmsley to retirement at 33 years of age instead of 34. We'll be right back with Kirby Haynes and the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Welcome back. Now here's some more unconventional wisdom to set you free from the man on a mission to retire America, one person at a time, Del Walmsley.
Welcome back to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. With me here on Tell Del Tuesday is Kirby H out of Houston, Texas. And he currently has somewhere around 698 units that is spread out over 5 apartment complex communities that he is the operating and managing partner for. He also has been in 17 multifamily passive deals, which we haven't got to yet. He's also purchased single-family houses. So he's done a little bit of it all, but all has come down to one very important thing. At a very early age of only 33 years of age, he replaced his very high personal earned income with passive income and retired. And as he says, he beat me by 1 year, holding the record for the youngest guy to retire. I don't know if that's a record. We have never really tracked it, but at this moment, you hold it until we track it as the youngest guy to retire at Lifestyle. Although I think there is some 27. No, John Boryak was younger than you, wasn't he? I think John was only like 28 or something. So whatever, it doesn't matter. It's still a fabulous accomplishment.
I don't know if John Boryak ever actually retired. I think he was just went from school and put to work as a lead or a sponsor. But there was a period of time for a good year or so I was fully retired. I had no job. I had no responsibilities. I had my passive income coming in. And I thought, wow, I've accomplished this at such a young age. But just like you, Del, all my friends were at work, and I didn't have anything to do. And I decided that I wanted, a project to work on or something to do that I enjoyed. And with my time, I didn't have to work for the money, but I wanted to do something productive in society. So I decided to become a lead investor, and that's when I started buying my own apartment complexes about 3 years ago. And
Kirby, let's take us through the time frame. When you first joined, you'd already done some stuff. When did you buy all the houses? You owned a bunch of houses at one time, right? 5 rental houses?
Yeah. Yeah, I bought the houses between 2010 and 2013, bought 5 houses.
When did you start buying the passive stuff?
The multifamily passive at the same time. Yeah. I started in 2010, 2011. I started both buying houses and multifamily passive at the same time.
Okay, so you found a way to get into 2 different things that were both pretty passive. I mean, once you put the single-family deal together, it kind of just sits there. So that was your first goal, was to create passive income?
Yes. Yeah, and with those 5 houses, pretty amazing. I was generating, I think, about $1,800 a month. Maybe it was around $2,000 a month between those houses. And I did that in just a period of a few years. And those down payments, or my out-of-pocket cost, was very small, anywhere from $0 up to, I think my highest was $10,000. And that income every month to me was the same amount as my father's pension, who he was receiving, and worked for the same company for, 20, 30 years. And I wasn't 7 years old collecting a pension. I was in my 20s, collecting a pension. And that was a complete life changer just by itself. Just buying a few houses and taking those first few steps was a complete game changer for me.
Man, that's enlightening. So what did your dad think about that you changed careers?
Unfortunately, my dad passed away in the last number of years, but he was always interested in real estate, but I think he was too scared of it to invest. He didn't understand it. He thought there was just problems, and he didn't understand the right way to invest in single-family houses and multifamily houses. And what I learned from Lifestyle is I tried to talk to him and teach him about it, but he just he wouldn't hear it. My dad was a very smart, logical man, very driven, and very disciplined, but he would not listen to the information and understand it.
Let's throw some numbers out there. I mean, because your story can go anywhere. It's just, I could go on all day long interviewing you with all the different things that you've done. Let's talk about and get some numbers in front of people, because I think they're phenomenal. And to be able to share these with people, is something that you should be very proud of. It says here that over the 11 years, your net worth has grown 1,000%. Can you explain that to us, what that means? Give us some real numbers, what that means.
Sure. When you have 1,000% return, all you really do is you add a zero. So if you have $100,000 net worth, you're now a millionaire. Your $100,000 is now $1 million. If you join Lifestyles or you start an investment and you start with $1 million and you have 1,000% return over a very long period of time, because it takes a long time, 10 years is what it taken me. You now have $10 million. And all it really is a continuation of what you teach us, is that you teach us to double our money when we buy a piece of real estate and earn very high rates of return, and then to continuously double our net worth until we're able to retire. I think that's exactly what the 2-day class book says. I still have my original ones, and what happens is when you double your money about 3 to 4 times, it's not a 300 or 400% return. You're at 1,000% return because, for instance, you invest $100,000, it doubles, you now have 200. Your $200,000 doubles, you now have 400,000. Your 400,000 doubles, you're at $800,000, right? If you double it one more time, you're at $1.6 million. So somewhere between the third and the fourth double or refinance cash out that we do, you have a 1,000% return on your net worth.
So you figure about an average about every 2 years is when these deals turn over, either by refinance or sale. Maybe 3 or 4 for the slower ones, so there's an average somewhere in there. But if that, let's say every 3 years your money doubles. Now, here's the interesting point to that, Kirby. At your age now you're in mid-30s. And most people say, okay, once you retire, you start worrying about can you survive. At your age, you're going to run into the same issue that I ran into, is that, okay, what if it doubles again? And if that happens and keeps happening for the next 30 years. Yeah. Or is it something where you just slow down and say, you know what, I don't really need all that money? Because I'm going to be honest with you. I tried that 3 or 4 different times to say, you know what, I'm done. I'm just going to start spending all my money. I'm going to have fun. I'm not going to buy anything more. I just don't care. I'll just teach and have fun teaching and blah, blah, blah. And then somebody comes along, does something great, or the economy changes, and I'm right back in it again, buying more stuff, growing that income. It's a weird thing. Yeah. You think that's going to happen to you?
I think it is. I've adopted being a real estate investor into my identity. And I tell people I'm a lifelong real estate investor, and I will do it as long as I'm able to. And even when, I leave this world, my investments will still keep producing for my family and, my nonprofit organizations that we're involved with. So, yeah, I may go different speeds. I may buy different properties at different times, but it's a lifelong process that you do, just like the government uses the 401k and the regulations to force people to save for old age, at age 60 or 70, and hope they don't run out of money before they die.
Well, we want to get out of this before we run out of time. We're going to take a short break. Be right back with Kirby H and Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Welcome back. Now here's some more unconventional wisdom to set you free from the man on a mission to retire America, one person at a time, Del Walmsley.
Del Walmsley Radio Show. With me here today is Kirby Haynes. Kirby has accomplished many, many goals in just the last 10 or 11 years he's been a member of Lifestyles Unlimited, not the least of which is owning 698 units that he is the operating partner on, not the least of having over 1,000% return on his net worth since he's been here, 17 different investments in other people's multifamily properties, 5 single-family properties, and retiring by the age of 33 years of age. All these are incredible accomplishments, Kirby. Let's talk about another topic. And I'm taking you to a lot of places that I don't take the average person, because you have some topics that might be shared with people your age or when you started that might make them more interested. And this one is one of those. Kids, short-term attention spans, can't focus, have no goals, have no desire to get ahead, don't even know what they want, don't even know where they're going to be, have no dreams in this day and age in our society. Kids are basically lost, and all they want to do is party. Now, when I met you, you were a party machine, and I've quite honestly been to one or more of your parties and seen you at other parties. You're a very social individual. So I know that you were at least a part of that fun group of being young. What is it that you want to say to kids that age that, hey, partying's great, but look what you could have if you'd started at an earlier age thinking about the future? Can you share that with young kids?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think going back through history, I think every society and country, elders have said, the younger generation is lost. They don't want to work. They're not productive. And there's always people like that. There's always going to be a certain percentage of that. I don't know if it's a higher percentage today than it has been in the past. I don't think it is. I hope it's not. But what would I say to them is what I tell myself and what I use to guide myself is make a decision today that your future self will thank you for. And, anyone can go out and party and drink and sleep in and have fun. And yes, we have fun, but I do it very responsibly. I don't make any bad decisions. I don't like staying out too late, and I know that after the party's over, we have to get back to life, and we have families to serve, and we have children to take care of as a society, and responsibilities with jobs, and be responsible to your community. So I would just say, make a decision today that your future self will thank you for. Because when you answer that question, you will always make the right decision, and you will always be thankful for what you've done in the past.
Now, as you've gone through this for 11 years, I know that you have attached yourself to a lot of really great investors and lifestyles. I mean, you're very good at networking, and you've picked out some really successful people to be your friends. I'm going to take it the other direction a little bit because I'd like to hear about those also, but really want to know, what have you told young people when you met them that they should do? Do you have any advice for younger people that are thinking about doing something like this?
Yeah, is that I would get involved and network with lifestyles, save your money, educate yourself, read the books on the lifestyles, required reading lists. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a great book. Spend time with people who you want to be like. If there's other successful real estate investors, connect with them, get to know them. And when you're around other successful people, you should be successful if you do with what they advise you to do. And, a lot of people think I'm really intelligent and maybe I do know some things, but I think the key to my success is that I've always asked the most successful people what to do in my life. And so, when I came to Lifestyles, I did exactly what my mentors told me to do, and now that I'm a lead investor, I talk to a lot of other lead investors or sponsors, and I get the best ideas from them, and I implement it in my life and in my businesses. And so I would say just network and be around other successful people who are doing what you want to do.
Well, you are good at networking, that's for sure. I don't think you've ever met somebody that, you can't meet an enemy. You're one of those nice guys. Let's take a look now back at some of the stuff you've done. Let's start with your passive investment deals. When you first started buying passive investment deals, were you more inclined to study up the deal itself or the lead itself? What did you put more weight on, the jockey or the horse?
That's a very good question. And I think you always start at looking at the lead investor. Do they have the traits of being a successful lead investor? Do they understand business? Do they understand in investing? Do they have the ability to manage other people with, managing their work output and meeting the payroll every week? Have they been a successful business owner before? Have they saved some money in their life and they have some sort of wealth that has proven that, they're doing what they should be doing, which is saving your money, making good investments, and thinking about the future. Because you don't want to invest with someone who typically, has no money, doesn't understand business, and, wants to get rich quick by buying one piece of real estate. Well, that's not how this works. You need to understand business. You need to constantly be growing, educating yourself, and understand that the lead investor has a huge outcome on the success of a property.
On the deals you looked at, after you went through and decided which leads you would go with, were you looking for yield plays or value plays, or did you care?
I didn't really care. I think the absolute definition of yield play and value play are hard to come by. I think the vast majority of properties and opportunities lie somewhere in between. And, I think you can use the hybrid label of, a deal that has value creation and cash flow on almost all of the Lifestyles properties. It's very rare that you come across a property or investment that is only a yield play or only a value play.
That's a good point. I'm going to share with everybody the extreme example, because there is an extreme example of a yield play or a value play. An extreme example of a yield play is a Class A property. It's brand new, and you just bought it from the builder, and it's 100% occupied, and there's absolutely nothing to do except collect money. That's a yield play. The other extreme is a value play, and that's a deal that is dirt. And you have absolutely no opportunity to make money until you build something and fill it up. Or secondarily, you buy something that's boarded up and you're starting from the ground zero. Those are the two extreme definitions. So go ahead with what you say. I'm sorry to cut you off. But for people out there that don't know what we know, I wanted them to understand that these are two different ways to invest. Either you're investing in something that needs a lot of work, which is a value play, and you're looking for massive capital gains, or you're looking for something to yield play, which means there's nothing to do except collect money. Now, like you said, most of the stuff we do is somewhere in between. Sorry to cut you off on that, but that definition, I needed it out there for people that were listening for the first time.
Yeah, that is very much correct. There are examples of that, of properties that are boarded up, and you can invest in those. But if I came across one, I would consider it. Those are riskier, but at the same time, when you buy a yield play, a Class A, it's brand new. Like you said, all you have to do is collect the rent. Well, when time goes by and rents go up a little bit, and maybe you start collecting some other income, before you know it, your property's worth more in value. And then now you have a hybrid deal that was originally a yield play, that has some value, and you can refinance cash out. And so, I always kind of joke, every yield play turns into a hybrid, and at some point you're going to be able to do a refinance cash out, whether it's 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. At some point, it's going to be a hybrid. So,
very good point. Very good point. So when you started buying for yourself and transitioned from being a passive investor behind other lead investors, what was your thoughts? So your first deal, what were you looking for in your first deal?
I wanted something, a property that was around 100 units, that was large enough to be able to support the payroll of one property manager in the office and one maintenance guy. The reason is because I did not want to buy a property so small that, I would be the leasing agent, say maybe a 20-unit apartment complex where, I'm the leasing agent, I'm not the maintenance guy, but I'd have to coordinate with contractors and whatnot. I wanted at least a small team of two other employees. And I wanted something that had opportunity to, have good occupancy at 90, 95%, but maybe the management was asleep at the wheel right now. And just changing management companies, changing ownership, buying the property, doing things that are, I consider, very basic, improves property operations.
All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with Kirby Haynes and the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Welcome back. Now here's some more unconventional wisdom to set you free from the man on a mission to retire America, one person at a time, Del Walmsley.
Welcome back to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Today with me on Tell Del Tuesday is Kirby Haynes out of Houston, Texas. Again, just for those of you tuning in, let's talk about this gentleman's accomplishments. It's mid-30s, probably 36 years of age, somewhere in that area. Has already done 17 passive multifamily deals. He has also done 5 single-family rental homes, and he is currently the lead investor and syndicator for 698 units in 5 different apartment communities. So he's got quite a few results, over 1,000% increase in his net worth since the beginning of time, and just keeps moving along. Kirby, we're at the last segment of the show now. Let's talk about future goals. What do you think that you're looking forward to in life?
I think now as I've become a lead investor, I've realized the value in enjoying life and having peace. And we have enough income now so that my husband can retire. And he's gone part-time now, and I think next month he'll completely retire, and he's, around my age, and now we can spend more time together and enjoy our lives more.
Are you guys travel kind of people?
We are. We like to travel, We bought a second home in Corpus Christi on Padre Island, and we really enjoy fishing, and we enjoy the outdoors, and it's a beautiful, beautiful home, and it's a very nice area, and we also go up and travel to the mountains of New Mexico and we stay up there on the river in Red River near Taos and Santa Fe, and we enjoy that quite a bit throughout the year. And so, yeah, we do travel. We've gone on a lot of cruises in the Caribbean and around the world, and we'll probably be doing more of that in the future.
Excellent. You guys ever thought about kids?
No, we really haven't. It's kind of hard to do that, but it is possible. But it's something that we just haven't really pursued.
Well, I understand. Some people just aren't kids people, but man, there's thousands of kids out there that could use adoption, no doubt.
Yeah.
And
sure.
You guys have got the success behind you. You'd be good parents to be able to teach people what to do. So let's talk about friends and family. What do they see going on around you?
Friends and family, they've seen my progress in lifestyles, and a lot of them will become members and investing in real estate and improve their financial lives, with passive income and growing their net worth. And family and friends have benefited quite a bit just because of my membership and involvement with lifestyles. And I share it with everyone I can who's, willing and able to listen and educate themselves. And, I think that's great. As far as goals you asked me about, I don't have a big step goal of accomplishing this or that. I've always been kind of, what's the next step, or what is the next thing we do today or this month or this quarter? And I kind of take life one step at a time, because some people like to set huge goals. I don't, I just want to do, what can we do right now? What makes sense should we spend our time on? And if you just keep doing that over and over, you always meeting your goals and always hitting, making progress. And there's an unlimited potential where that might take you. So I have no idea where my future may lay, but I'm going to keep, taking the next step and making a little bit of progress on everything in life.
I think I'm kind of the same way. I'm always satisfied. It's a weird thing. I'm always satisfied with where I'm at until I'm not. It's like,
right.
Yeah. Hey, what about that over there? Okay. It's like a dog with a ball. They don't really want the ball, but if you throw the ball in front of them, they'll probably chase after it, kind of thing. That's right. Kind of the way I live my life too. So do you have anybody you want to give credit to? I know you've networked with a lot of really good investors here. Is there somebody, one or more, that has really given you the direction that helped you a lot?
There's a lot over the last 11 years. There's a lot of lifestyles mentors and lead investors, and even passive, investors, other lifestyles members that I've talked to, that I've gathered knowledge from, and they've given me good advice. There's many of them that I connect with and value the friendship with. And so I would just say that's the value of Lifestyles Unlimited, is that I have so many friends and connections that together, that's the real value of Lifestyles, is its membership and all its members, and the collective knowledge that we all have and we all share is unbelievable. There's not one question or problem that I can't figure out a solution to. I just have to maybe, call one person or call the second person or third person, or, tells me, oh, well, call this so-and-so. They know how to fix that problem, and I call them, and, I get the answer. And so we have unbelievable collective knowledge. So I would say just thank you to everyone. There's so many people to think about. And that's the value of being a member of Lifestyles.
Leads me to one last question. We've got to keep it short. We've only got about half a minute here.
Yep.
That is, being from the financial world where everybody's got to have their secret plan and their company secrets, were you surprised how open people were with their finances when you got here?
No, I wasn't. I've always been open about investing in education and business and stuff. I think it's just because my dad made me read 3 business newspapers every day, and we had to discuss it and understand what's going on in economics. And if he said you don't understand business and numbers, you're not going to be successful in life. And so I've always been open about discussing money and investing with anyone. So I was not surprised. I very much enjoy it, how open everyone is and how willing they are to share.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing what you've shared with us today. And congratulations on all the massive success you've had in the last 11 years. Look forward to 11 more just like it. And remember that as you go through this, it's not how much money you have. It's not the money. It's the quality of the lifestyle. That's what it's all about. And the money just comes. So, Kirby, thanks a lot for being on the show, and the rest of you out there, just keep saying it to yourself. It's not the money. It's the lifestyle. Have a wonderful day.
The information and opinions you hear on the Del Walmsley radio show are those of the host, Del Walmsley, his guests, and his callers, and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of this station, its affiliates, its management, or advertisers. The Del Walmsley show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented on the Del Walmsley show constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.